You're listening to ReiaCast, a podcast of the Southwest Florida Real Estate Investment Association. ReiaCast brings together a variety of real estate entrepreneurs from all over the world to share tips and ideas. The core purpose of the Southwest Florida REIA is to help members become more profitable and successful through networking, education, and empowerment. Here are your hosts, Jeff Tamarello and Michael Lyons.
Hey, Paul, it's Jeff Tamburello with the Southwest Florida REIA. I'm also the broker owner of Steelbridge Realty. How you doing today?
Doing great today. Thanks for having me.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. Every time we've done these, I get more out of it than I think anybody else does. You're a wealth of information on so many subjects.
Well, thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it.
So tell us a little about yourself, Paul.
So, I have a background in technology. Started with a website and search engine optimization business, and that grew into what I have now, which is a Amazon consulting agency. The reason I got into that was because as people came to me wanting to build e-commerce websites because they wanted to sell their products online, I suggested that they sell the products on Amazon versus on their own websites. The reason for that is because if you create a website and you put it out there in the internet, no one can find it, and then you got to spend a ton of money trying to get it found and in front of people. And my thinking at the time was, well, why don't you just put your stuff on Amazon and make your first sale tomorrow instead of waiting a year to get people to your website to find your products and sell that way. So it was a new business model was born for me, and we've capitalized on it. I since sold the website and SEO portion of my business, and now my business ranks worldwide organically on Google for Amazon consulting and management, and that's where we get most of our leads, and we're helping lots of people, lots of different companies, both small and large, become prosperous selling on Amazon.
I always like, because you also have an Amazon business yourself too, which is awesome because you're not just, I see so many consultants that are consulting on something that they don't actually do, or they've only have limited experience on doing that. It's huge to learn how to fish from somebody who's fishing.
Yes, exactly.
So there's so many in both the real estate space and the Amazon space. I'm really interested personally in the Amazon space right now. There's so many in that space that, they've got product that they sell as far as a course, but they don't actually do it. And it's really obvious they don't actually do it.
Right. Yeah. You could tell by their responses, they're not actually in the trenches, in the weeds, so to say, knowing exactly how, what the challenges are and how to surpass those. Yeah, I've sold on Amazon since 2007. It started with my dad's closet accessories. He does custom closets. So I looked at his closet accessories. I'm like, let's try putting this stuff on Amazon. And then in 2009, I actually made a private label product, a board game that I had produced in China, and had that shipped over, and it was the top seller in its category for years. So definitely got into doing some of that Amazon stuff right at the very beginning, and was able to bring that experience forward to offer as a service to folks.
Now, do you do the fulfillment by Amazon?
Absolutely. So, for folks that are looking to sell on Amazon, that's one of the biggest things that we help companies transition to. There's roughly two ways to sell on Amazon. You can either put your product in an Amazon warehouse, which is the Fulfillment by Amazon, or FBA. They get you that little Prime logo that you see as a customer. Or you can do what's called FBM, Fulfillment by Merchant, which means you're essentially drop shipping direct to the customer when they make a purchase. When your product is in the FBA program or has that Prime logo, Amazon gives you preferential treatment in terms of ranking and for search terms and things like that. And oftentimes the amount of sales, you can actually realize what your actual plateau in sales is. A lot of companies we've consulted with don't do that program, and when we put them in it, they all of a sudden realize a whole bunch more sales that they didn't have before. People love that 2-day or 1-day shipping now, and oftentimes customers even filter by it. They'll just click the button and say, I only want to look at Prime offers.
That's me. If it's not Prime, I don't buy it. Unless It's like I had to buy some parts. I'm getting ready to have some work done on my truck, and the part I was looking for was so much more expensive Prime versus the guy shipping it. Even with shipping was $20 cheaper.
Mm.
But my first search is Prime on everything. I don't even. But then, I mean, I wish they would just. It may be able to, but the featured results are, I'm sure, people paying to be there. But I prefer. I'm cheap, so I like the lowest price first.
Well, Amazon's done a great job of training us in North America to uh, demand very fast shipping. And Amazon is working at training the rest of the world in different marketplaces to be the same. It isn't exactly like that in other areas of the world, but they're working at changing the culture of buying online in other areas. And Amazon is trying to be as disruptive as they can as they expand across the globe. What's very interesting about Amazon as a seller, it makes it very easy to sell almost anywhere in the world using their platform. They make it easy to do that.
We on flips have become more and more on Amazon. I mean, a story I tell, I was at a Walmart and looking at an air filter for Christina's Jeep, and it was $2 cheaper on Amazon than it was on the shelf at Walmart. And so you wait 2 days and you save $2 and it shows up at the front door, which is where I was going to put it on anyways. On some recent flips, we've done a lot of large items. The prices are really good. And I was kind of shocked at the amount of construction materials that are on Amazon. But we got some glass shower doors at a really great price. And not only that, they delivered it to the house. So you don't have to pick it up. You don't have to pay Home Depot to deliver it. We would even, when I would meet with a contractor and we're planning the next phase, because it was this one was a very in-depth rehab. So we would, as he's telling me what he wants, I'm on the Amazon app just having it delivered right to the house. And we ordered a lot of that. I bet you 20% of that rehab was off Amazon.
That's really cool. One thing that people don't realize, and this is a lot of the clients that we get are manufacturers and brands that are frustrated with how their prices are appearing for their products on Amazon, which you can really take advantage of as a customer. So typically MSRP is what they want their product sold for in the store. Then there's wholesale, which is typically half of MSRP. And then wholesale, meaning the store or the retail brick and mortar outlet, half of that is the distribution cost. So oftentimes a lot of these distributors are getting rock bottom prices directly from the manufacturers, and they're listing products at less or equal to wholesale cost, which is a huge advantage to the end users, the customers that are buying. So this is frustrating a lot of brands. A lot of brands approach us to help us clean that up and help tighten up their distribution chain. But until that happens with a particular brand or manufacturers, customers win. And that's something that Amazon promotes. Amazon doesn't honor manufactured advertised pricing or MSRP. They are in the business of keeping their customers happy. They're customer obsessed. They want to make sure that there's competing offers. They want customers to have the best prices available without regard to anything else. So from a seller perspective or a brand or manufacturer perspective, tightening up the distribution chain, getting on the same page with everybody else to get the prices where they want them to be is quite challenging for them. So as a real estate investor doing a flip, you can really identify some really great prices on Amazon for brands and manufacturers that aren't really controlling their product or brand on Amazon, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So how do you find that I would call it the arbitrage there? It's a positive arbitrage. How do you seek that out and find it when you're searching for your materials?
Well, so some things that people don't realize is when you're searching Amazon, there isn't always just one page, or it's called a detail page on Amazon for that particular product. So say you're looking for a drywall knife, for example, and you have one page and you're like, okay, well, that's the only one of this on Amazon. That isn't necessarily true. There's people on Amazon that are listing that particular product under different names, but it's exactly the same product. So if you get more advanced or spend a little bit more time searching for different search terms, you might be able to find different listings on Amazon of the exact same product at a much steeper discount. And the reason sellers are doing this is they don't want to compete against the other sellers, which brings me to my next point. When you are on an Amazon listing, oftentimes you just select what's on the top right, and that's called getting the buy box, the first offer that Amazon puts in front of you. but there's that little link down there that says 27 new from whatever price. And that's what you're talking about when you click on that, and you can see, okay, well, what are people offering it for? Which offers are prime? In there, you can actually see the ratings of the different sellers, because there's third-party sellers selling, Amazon selling it direct. There's a lot of different offers in there that you can select from. So diving into that to see what are my different options, you can find the best price. Amazon isn't always presenting the best price as the first option to add to your cart. To get that buy box is contingent on 5 or 6 different factors: being available prime, having it in stock within consistently over the last 90 days, having your feedback rating at 90% plus. So a lot of these different things influence their ability to show up in that buy box. So just adding it to the cart, whatever Amazon presents first, isn't necessarily getting you the best price as the customer. So clicking on that 27 new to really evaluate the different price comparison is going to be critical to getting that best price. Also, you can avoid a lot of pitfalls by going into that area, meaning you can see what the ratings of those sellers are. There's an epidemic of people in China adding new accounts to Amazon constantly, and they're hopping onto existing listings, offering what they are saying is the product that you think you're buying, but it's actually a counterfeit or inauthentic fake product. So going in there and seeing that you're buying from a seller that has a high rate of review, a high percentage of reviews, and has a good number of reviews is going to prevent you from buying something that isn't authentic, or a seller that is selling some shoddy product or a different version of a product, and you can avoid some headaches that way.
I found we're looking for our pool for creepy crawly thing. And I found one that, you plug it in and it just runs when the pump runs. So it automatically cleans the pool. Right. And the old one that we have that we don't want again, because it used to get hung up in the corners, somebody in China ripped it off, and I've looked at it, the picture, it's an exact copy of what we had, but they're only asking $80.
Right.
The other ones are like 330. I'm really tempted to give it a shot for $80. So what if it works? So
it could. So that brings me to another level of savviness as a customer on Amazon. Is the customer is always right. The customer will always be taken care of. And that might not be immediately evident when you, let's say, buy this creepy crawly thing and it shows up and it's garbage. You might go in there and the seller might have set a policy that says it's not eligible for return. Well, you have a lot of power as a customer with Amazon. If the different buttons that are available to you when you're trying to return something aren't available to do a return, you just need to call them. You could literally Google Amazon customer service phone number, and the number will pop up right at the top there. You call that 800 number and just get on the phone with one of these folks at Amazon and say, you know what, I'm not satisfied as a customer. I want to return this anyway. I don't care what the return policy is. I'm not happy with my purchase and I want a refund. And you can basically push Amazon to refund almost everything every single time, even if it's outside the return period. If the particular product category isn't eligible for return, you can basically, as a customer, push Amazon to return almost anything. And that's something that people don't know. So if you ever get a product you're not happy with, call them up and push them to do it anyway, and the likelihood of it happening is extremely high.
I've been using the one tip you taught me, that the minute I order, I screenshot it. And if it shows up a day later, you hit them up on the chat and they give you a free month of Prime.
That's right. So you screenshot the guaranteed delivery date that they put in front of you and save that and present it to them as being late. Yeah, you do get concessions from them. I think lately, if I remember what I've heard correctly, they're starting to offer credits towards additional purchases rather than extending the free Prime. But hey, free money is free money. So anything you can do to get a little bit more out of them is probably a good idea.
I mean, the returns are awesome. We had one set of glass doors that was an inch too shy to fitting the opening, because we had the older house that somebody had built stuff in, and so it wasn't all exactly conforming. And they picked up the shower doors and returned them, no questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was really kind of nervous, like we're going to be stuck with these doors and I'm going to have to sell it on Marketplace for half of what we paid for it probably but not a problem returning. I was really impressed with how easy returning the big stuff was.
Right, right. The other thing is when you look at the available offers, shipped and sold by Amazon. So a lot of them are shipped by Amazon, but sold by a third party. But if you look for items that are shipped and sold by Amazon, that's basically Amazon buying the product from a manufacturer and selling it direct to the customer. The customer service experience with returns on those products is often much less frictionless. However, the prices aren't usually as good as you're going to get from a third-party seller. So that might be something to weigh when you're making a purchasing decision. The other advantage of taking a look at those different offers that are on a particular detail page is Amazon warehouse deals. It's basically people who have returned product that they didn't like for whatever reason, and Amazon's just trying to resell it at a liquidation price. So you usually get some good deals in there, and they're available via Prime as well.
We're at the point where on real estate, just set up a automatic drop ship, a subscription. It's cheaper too, and just every month have them send you a new filter. As landlords, we have one guy in the club that just started doing it. That he's got his tenants, he's paying for it, and if your tenants change the filters and you don't have to have the intensive AC visit, just a yearly PM visit, it saves you a lot of money. And he's actually just kind of building it into his cash flow that he's sending them a $7 air filter once a month, and assuming they're doing it. And, you should catch it on your quarterly walkthroughs. So number one thing in a quarterly walkthrough, first thing you go to, this is just a real estate tip, is go look at that filter.
Right.
And then go look out if it's on a well, go look at the salt system and make sure there's salt in it, because without the salt, you can cause a lot of damage to your plumbing.
Yeah, that doesn't it mess up all the metal and stuff that comes in contact to it? Yeah,
not any equipment. So, I mean, there's a lot of landlords that are actually just have a service and they build it into the rent. Just like I know some guys in the club that only rent pool homes, and they build in the pool care into the price because the tenants do more damage.
Right.
I mean, they just don't know what they're doing. It's not their fault. They just don't know what they're doing.
Right.
And like I learned something. Here's your pool tip. You have to take, if you go to Pinch Penny to get your water tested, you have to get it there within 3 hours.
Okay.
Or the chemicals don't really matter. So I rode around with a jar of water in the truck for 2 days, and they had me adding all kinds of stuff. So she didn't ask me how recent was this thing. She assumed I knew what I was doing, which was terrible on her part.
Right.
And we ended up dumping all kinds of stuff, and the water was cloudy for days. It looks great now, but there's your side tip on pools. Make sure if you go to Pinch a Penny, it's within 3 hours.
Right. That's a good tip. I didn't know that. I want to go back to Prime offers as a customer. Not all Prime offers are created equal. So we have a client that ships hot tubs to customers, fiberglass hot tubs at $5,000 a piece. They have a Prime logo, but it says I think it says 8 to 12 weeks for delivery. So it's 8 to 12 weeks Prime. There's also a program called Small and Light where you still get the Prime logo, but it's 4 to 5 day ship time. So just because it has a Prime logo doesn't mean it's actually going to be 1 or 2 days guaranteed. So when you're taking a look at, again, clicking on that 27 new or 6 new from whatever price, click on there and look at the dates that they promise, because you'll get a better feel for when it's actually going to arrive. You can't just assume that Prime means it's going to come right away.
I actually had problems with a truck topper I ordered for somebody for Christmas that I kept trying to cancel it, and they shipped it anyways, and I had to return it, which was weird because it took them like 4 days to get it in the mail, and I had canceled it like within an hour of ordering it, and they still shipped it. I really couldn't figure out why, but.
Right. Was it a Prime order or? Probably don't remember
if it was Prime or not.
So when somebody's doing the FBM model, which is not Prime, Amazon sends that seller an email, sold now, ship now. And if they don't ship it that day, and they don't change their settings in their account, they can get penalized for not fulfilling on the time schedule that Amazon has. So Amazon's really trained a lot of those shippers to just get it out the door immediately. So that might have been one of the cases where they're really on top of their game. They ship the product out super fast after they receive the order, and it got to you. The reason Amazon's so stringent on those sellers is they want the customer experience to be phenomenal, and they want to make sure that people are getting their stuff quickly.
Amazon is one of the things that there's never been more opportunity on this planet. And Amazon, Christina's from a little town in Ohio, my wife, called Newton Falls. And there's a guy and it's the Rust Belt, so there's a lot of industrial space laying around. And not as much as there was, but there's still some. And he makes, to make your own beer. He's one of the biggest sellers on Amazon to craft your own beer. And he does it out of little Newton Falls, Ohio. And the dude is crushing it. I've looked up his products, and it's probably going to be one of my next hobbies, I think. But it's amazing how the guy shipping global out of a little town in Ohio that nobody's ever heard from. And particularly I know the warehouse space there is so incredibly cheap that his profitability is through the roof. And there's no way he could make a living if he had a storefront selling that stuff in that little town.
So I used to do a lot of local networking, and a lot of the smaller brick and mortar shops complaining about Amazon destroying their businesses. And I would often say, you gotta adapt to the new environment, just like this shop that you're talking about, where just turn the back of your storefront into an Amazon shipping facility. If oftentimes these brick and mortar shops don't realize that they have access to all these products at wholesale prices, sometimes distribution prices, and they can literally create an account and start selling not only to their local community, but globally, nationally, globally, wherever they want. So they just need to change their mindset, adapt. What is this phrase? Adapt or die. So if they're not adapting and not evolving, then they're going to go to the wayside. So, changing the mindset and who your customer is can really make a big difference for some of those smaller business owners, like you said.
Yeah, amen to that. Well, anything else you want to share, Paul?
There is another cost savings tip. So there's another thing called, and this is really related to more industrial tool business stuff, more of a B2B type scenario. Amazon has a program called Amazon Business. And as a customer, you can sign up as a business if you have a FEIN number. And oftentimes a lot of sellers offer additional discounts on products, especially if you buy in volume. So a lot of the folks in real estate that are listening to this, they should set up the Amazon Business account, because they could probably be getting better prices on some of the products they're buying already, and they're not even realizing it because they haven't signed up for the Amazon Business account. So that's something that I would highly recommend. This is also an area of Amazon that's growing very rapidly. Amazon has focused a lot on business to consumer type products, consumer packaged goods. They're trying to push into a lot of business to business type goods to disrupt that area. So a lot of more industrial B2B type products are starting to appear more prominently on Amazon. And if you don't see them there, that's an opportunity to maybe be the first one to put those products there.
Now, you had mentioned like 3 months ago that Amazon was reducing its fees on, I think it was furniture under $250 and like over the counter like vitamins and stuff.
Yeah, it's like beauty products under $10. They lower the fees from 15 to 8%, and then on the furniture under $250, exactly.
Now, do you watch the metrics at all on the sales? Did it actually do anything, or not?
I haven't been following that, but obviously that push was to try and disrupt some different spaces. I look at that furniture as being something that you could go down the street to Walmart or Target to get furniture under $250, and in a lot of those cosmetics and beauty products that are under $10, right now, if you were going to buy them on Amazon prior to that, you'd have to buy a multi-pack. Some people don't want to buy a whole bunch of shampoo. They just want to buy one bottle, and typically they go to a Walmart or a CVS or a Walgreens to get it. But Amazon changes the game to make the prices more competitive by bringing the fees down.
Cool. Well, we're going to have you drill into this topic a lot more at our December luncheon. Enjoyed this. It's awesome. And any final parting thoughts?
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to give my business a plug.
Oh, please. Well, and it'll be linked. We're going to make a blog out of this, and there'll be links to get in touch with Paul if you're interested in. Paul, it's amazing how much you share. You're actually as bad as I am about giving away what you know.
Well, I always believe in demonstrating value because that's really how you distinguish between folks that know what they're talking about and those that don't.
Mm-hmm. So how would somebody get in touch with you, Paul?
So the best way is to go to our website, awesomedynamic.com. And if you're somebody who'd like to give us a call on the phone, the number is 800-238-1811.
And you can always, you tend to be at most REIA meetings. So
I do. Yes. When I'm not out of town, I'm definitely there.
Cool. Enjoyed this, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
This concludes this edition of ReiaCast. Be sure to subscribe to receive our next episode. You can also subscribe at our website, www.swflreia.com. See you at a meeting soon. Please let us know if you have a suggestion for a future episode.